beautiful part of the world where we are right now, Northumberland in the Cheviots. The view that I'm looking at is spectacular. I would turn you around and show you, but it took that long to set the tripod up. So it's over there. Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name's Nick. Born in Somerset, now living in the northeast, Northumberland to be specific. I left Somerset when I was 17, as soon as I could drive, basically, into a car and away. Kind of wiggled my way north. Initially, when I moved to the northeast, I was a forestry machine operator for 5 years. Centred around Kielder Forest, but then other forests in the area and down to North Yorkshire. And it was there where I met my beautiful wife. Been together for 22 years, just over. 3 kids and a husky now. Busy life. But from there, I was given a job opportunity back in Somerset as an overhead line apprentice. So we moved back to Taunton, and that's where I served my time in my current job role. And I was also there for 5 years. Great company, great people I worked with, great memories. And it was whilst living in Somerset that we realised the call to the north was very loud. So I was fortunate enough to be able to transfer back to the northeast and in the job role which I am in now. So it's a very active job. It's a very rewarding job. Helping people like in storms and things when they need power. It's a very, very good job. It's a demanding job. It's a lot of unsociable hours. My real passion, it has to be said, as the channel suggests, lies with woodworking. Woodwork is tied to our heritage, to our past. I saw someone say not that long ago that 100 years ago we didn't have running water. We didn't have the food that we have available now. We didn't have the medication, we didn't have heating, we didn't have electricity. We would eat 3 meals a week, not 3 meals a day. And all of these things, again, that really isn't that long ago. We had to provide for ourselves for a lot of things. So therefore woodworking was a big part of that. If you needed something, you would make it. Whether that was for tool handles or whether that was for utensils, whatever the reason, we had the ability and the knowledge and the experience to be able to make things. And it's lost, it's gone, and it's a shame. And I really feel connected to my heritage to continue this craft and to share this craft. The joy that I get from woodworking is remarkable. Green woodwork or woodworking uses a material which is reproducing sustainably hundreds of thousands of tons every day without any or very little human interaction whatsoever. It's an absolute no-brainer. Using wood in its green form means that it can be, so green means fresh, still has the moisture in the fibres. It's easier to split the wood. It's easier to rive it or cleave the wood apart. But consequently, you're not cutting through the fibres, you're splitting the fibres, so you're maintaining the structural integrity of the wood, which means that it is stronger. It does have the other side of things, so that when it dries, the wood will change as the molecular structure of the timber changes. It hardens as the moisture leaves the wood. Then it will twist and change shape, but that just adds to the attraction, the natural attraction of the craft and the things that you create. And with a small amount of sharp tools, it is incredible what you can achieve from crafting anything from a cup or a utensil to a log cabin, a barn, whatever it is. Whatever you put your mind to with woodwork, you can achieve. And quite often it's using experience and skills that we've been using for centuries. Hence my passion behind it. The other very attractive thing for me with green woodworking and woodworking using ancient practices are that there's no power tools. There is no power required other than yourself. There's no dust, there's no vibration, there's no noise. It's much lower risk. You're not getting tangled up with power tools, etc., and all the associated risks with vibration and hearing problems. It's a clean craft. It's a clean practice that requires very little tools. To make a spoon, for example, you're talking an axe, a straight knife, and a curved knife, all of which you could purchase realistically for about £60 or less, and off you go. Again, part of the passion that I want to get out there to people, to say it does not cost a lot of money, and it is a way to disconnect from the things that are keeping us in fear. Just put it behind you. You don't need to focus on it. Focus on something else. Focus on something which gives you a sense of achievement and success. Woodworking for me, or the outdoor life in particular, has been part of my life since a young age. I remember as a child finishing school and weekends and stuff, just putting on a backpack, probably a Swiss Army knife that my parents didn't know about, tucked away somewhere, and away into the fields with the full aim of making and creating something, whether that be a bow and arrow or whatever it was. And it's always felt very connected to me, intrinsically part of me. This was further embellished when I started the cadets and we did a survival survival experience where we were taught for 3 or 4 days all of the skills that we'd need using a bushcraft knife and a very basic survival kit, ferro rods, etc., to start fires. And then we had to build a shelter, cook our own food, catch our own food, and basically exist for 48 hours. And to me, the entire time, it just felt so right. Obviously, it was hard. I was freezing cold. I nearly gave in a few times because that was part of the challenge, to see if you could last. But I did it. That sense of achievement I got from it was incredible. But that passion inside of me, that ancestral link, has laid dormant inside of me until maybe 15 years ago, when I was at work again in the job that I do now, and someone gave me one of these, and it is a very useful plastic utensil that's good as a spoon and a fork, and it's got a bit of a knife on the side of it, commonly known as a spork. And from using this over time, I thought I could make a wooden one of those. So as time's gone on, these are what I make. Very similar in design. It's a double cranked piece, spoon at one end, fork at the other with a sharp edge. But to make one of these by yourself using sharp tools, quietly in the woodland or on your sofa, doesn't matter. But to take the time, not rush, just take your time and let it form inside of your hands as you create it, and then to use it is a feeling like no other. To provide for yourself, to not have spent money on one of these big chains, it's a feeling a passion that I want to share in that respect. And that's kind of where it comes from, but it's just exploded inside of my head about the potential. When you're focusing, when part of your brain is focusing on what you're doing to such a high degree and a high level of detail, then all the other noise, all the other commotion in your brain just floats away. And it's like time travel is one way to describe it. When you connect, when you go into that moment, it's hard for some people to understand or comprehend really, but when you're using a very, very sharp tool in close confines to your body, it is possible, once you reach a certain level of competency, to really switch off and to quiet the brain. I tend to intuit a piece of wood or read the piece of wood. So you can read the grain, because it was a living thing. You can see how it's grown, the tensions in the wood and things. And so I'll open a fresh piece of wood and it will tell me how I need to work that piece of wood to get a utensil or whatever it is that I'm looking for from that piece of wood. It's kind of hard to describe. I have cut myself it happens. They're very sharp tools. The good thing is that you tend to learn very quickly not to do it again, because it does hurt. But the good thing is, when using green woodworking tools, is that they are very sharp, and you tend to get a cut that you just apply pressure to very quickly, put some tape over it, a plaster, a dressing, and in no time at all it will seal up and it'll heal up. And that is how you learn. I want to share a passion for the woodland and the crafts associated with it. I want to share the joy. I want to create a community where people can reach out and ask questions. There's no such thing as silly questions, only a silly answer, so I was famously once told. And it's very, very true. When I started out in woodwork, I would scour the internet looking for resources and information that would help me, and I struggled. I mean, it's out there. There's things that were on Facebook years ago that are coming back. And YouTube. There are some great YouTubers that cover green woodworking. But it was a challenge. So I would like to create a space where I can just show the basics, I can demonstrate and explain, and then with the community, leave the opportunity for people to reach out, comment, ask questions. Why are you using that axe? Why are you doing it in this way? Why, just feel free to ask loads of questions. That's really a big part of what I want to do. I want to share my passion. I want to share my life moving forwards, breaking away from modern society in a respect of the laid out tracks that we should all follow of working 40, 50 years to pensionable age, live a few years and die. That just sounds awful, and I don't really want to do that anymore. I saw on a post not so long ago that the graveyard is full of people who thought that they had more time, and that was a big one. That made a lot of sense. I lost my father last March, and he was affected through various health reasons, and he always thought he had more time, and we all wish that he did, but that's obviously another contributing factor. But I really feel now that enough time's been spent waiting instead of doing. So here I am. Things are changing, but I think they're changing for the better, mostly, depending on your views on things. I think there's a lot of good that can come moving forwards from the changes, from the developments. It's not all doom and gloom, or it doesn't have to be. Life is what you make of it. And I plan to make the best of it, for sure. So thanks for clicking. Thanks for joining me on the start of this adventure. I'm excited. I want to see where it's going to take me, us, and see you soon. I'm now going to take you back down the hill.